Hey everybody, this is SPAZ, and I just wanted to make this quick video. It's another different one. Now everybody knows that I'm a big fan of the association. I mean, I did a video before, and I featured a lot of the association CDs that I have. You know, this one here has the first 5 albums, all the stereo versions, and it's a great little set if you wanted to grab that. There's also things like the mono versions that Now Sounds put out. And Now Sounds is one of the greatest reissue labels because they deal with 60s pop and sunshine pop and some garage stuff, really melodic type stuff. And they have the ones that I have here are these. Now this album cover is really iconic for me. Actually, both of these albums are really iconic for me because these are the ones that my parents owned that I know that I listened to. I used to love to listen to Along Comes Mary and Cherish on this one, and of course Windy and Never My Love, but then the whole albums as well. But anyway, there's also an expanded edition of the self-titled one, the Stonehenge album. And of course I also have a couple of the latest albums, Stop Your Motor, Waterbeds, and Trinidad. And now there's also a couple great compilations like this 2 CD Rhino Records one, and this Now Sounds one, which is a 2 CD set featuring all the A and B sides, and that's really fantastic as well. But one of the members, Russ Giguere, he put out a solo album back in '71, I think, and it's called Hexagram 16. That is available on Real Gone Music label. And he is releasing an autobiography, a story about the association. And there it is right there. This book is available on March 10th. I have read this book, and it is absolutely fantastic because it's honest, and it's really told in a real fascinating way, because I never really trust anyone who could tell a proper linear story, go from A to Z, and hit all the points without deviating from the subject matter. We've all started telling a story about something, and then we go off on a different tangent and come back to it and go off on a different tangent, and it's all linked together. And that's the way this story is. This is one of those books that if you want to find out about the time period when Along Comes Mary was a popular single, you can't just go to that chapter, open it, and read it and find out everything. You find out little bits and pieces beforehand, and you find out afterwards as well. It's a nice, wonderful, great story because he tells it with a lot of humor, with a lot of information, a lot of sources, a lot of quotes, some input from his bandmates, and it is honest, truthful, yet it does not tear down the mystique. I love a band and the music they make, and I love the mystique behind it. And this gives a lot of information, and you learn a lot about the bands and the inner workings and their influences and Russ's influences. But it's also still sort of holding back on some things. I mean, if he told the whole story, it would be a lot bigger than this. But it's a fascinating story. It's a great read. It's very easy to follow. Like I said, even if he goes off on tangents. For example, he mentions Brian Cole's death very early on, even before the band became famous, and then he makes references to it throughout. And then, of course, when he gets to that sad part of the story, he gives a little more information. But you can't just read that little passage and know what he was feeling, what his thoughts, why he says what he says, why he does what he does. You have to read the whole book, and because it all comes together. And especially when it's over, you're thinking, oh, okay, well, Brian Cole, or the single Along Comes Mary, or the reason he quit the band is because of this, and this, and it's because you learned it throughout the book. And I think it's a fascinating way to tell a story. It's wonderfully written. It's a great read. There are some pictures in there. There's heartbreak in there. There's fun. There's drugs. There's sex. There's Russ dated Helen Mirren when she was in her 20s. I mean, she's beautiful now. 50 years later. She's just absolutely gorgeous. And he dated her when she was in her 20s. And I'm thinking, man, that guy deserves an Academy Award just for that. And then, of course, he dated Linda Ronstadt. But he's a smart man. He reveals just enough information to make you want volume 2. No, but it's fascinating. It's a wonderful read. I highly recommend it. In just a matter of days, I'll be interviewing Russ for my Beach Blanket Fort Bingo podcast, and we'll discuss the book, we'll discuss the association, and a whole lot more. But there's one thing he leaves out of this book, and that's any mention of this album, which him and Larry were like the only performers on it, the only association members. And you know what? I'm not going to ask him about it. If he left it out of the book, maybe that's on purpose. Don't want to get him mad. But anyway, I highly recommend this book. It is available on March 10th. And you should actually pre-order it now. If you're in LA, I think he's making an appearance at like Book Soup or something where he will be autographing the book. I wish I could go there. Living in Sacramento ain't gonna happen, but it's a wonderful read. I highly recommend that you seek it out. Go to Amazon right now, pre-order it. There's so much great little tidbits in here that are just absolutely fascinating. So definitely check it out, read it. That will be available March 10th, 2020. So check it out. And it's reasonably priced too. You're not looking at like a $50, $60 book. But also, if you buy it on Amazon, what you may want to do is, while you're online, maybe get one of the association CDs or maybe one of the compilations that I just showed you, so you can listen to it as you read. I say get all the albums, because he makes mentions of particular songs that weren't singles, just deep album cuts that you may want to reference while you're reading the book. So it's really fun. Check it out. That's it right there. Russ Giguere with Ashley Wren Collins. Along Comes the Association. Fantastic book. Get it now. And until the next time, smell you later.